Enter and welcome to Rens Red Room on the Head Nerds in Charge Network.
Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Rens Red Room. I am your host, Ren, and I have a guest co-host here. You would like to introduce yourself? Mr. Webster Style. Did it freeze? Yes, it's lagging a little bit. Yeah, it's all good. Can you hear me? Is it back up? You see me moving my technology, folks. This is technology. Okay. We in the future. We still gotta deal with lag. My Mario game from the 90s probably still work today. Listen, just like anything to
that's the truth.
So tonight we're going to talk about what happened at Exoticon, some poly stuff, some sex stuff, some interesting stuff. We'll talk about some stuff, okay? Webster, if you could hear me, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure, no problem. What's going on, everybody? It's Webster Style here, the man, the voice, the fragrance from websterstyle.com.
All right, cool. Got the shine on the face, okay. So Webster, let's talk about
Exotica. Yes.
Let's talk about Exotica.
Yeah, so, Exotica was interesting. This is
okay. Go ahead.
It was interesting. It was my second one. I went to DC last year. Yeah, so I went to DC last year. So this year was I always tell people, because people ask me like, how was it? I'm like, it was nice. I come with a different mindset because I'm there like they get content to record and to interview. So I'm not necessarily there as a fan, but I enjoy going to erotica simply because it's somewhere that's all inclusive, regardless of what sort of, I'll say, oddities you see. Everything is welcome, and I really enjoy that about the environment. It's a no judgment zone. Here's my interview with Nurse J. Beck, who I interviewed last year. She is such a fun interviewee, a real nurse in real life, and she was saying how like she never cosplays as a nurse ever.
Wow.
So she cosplayed as a nurse all 3 days of Exotica in Jersey this year. It was really fun catching up with her, especially with like, if you've ever seen her online, she's exactly who she presents herself as. There's no sort of smoke screen or anything, no like that. That's who she is, and that's why I really enjoy talking to her and following her as well. But Exotica this year was interesting, especially being in New Jersey. It was the 15th one. It was, I would say this, it's interesting for me with the number of adult performers who were just walking around as patrons. That's something you didn't see in DC, and that's something I thought that would be unique. Not say that part, but just who would show up, considering the proximity to New York and being in the New York media market. There I am with Goddess Lilith, Foxy as well there, and it was very interesting in that regard. And Onyx, she was a great performer there. One of the Exotica hotties, I think, and I believe she won as well, if I remember looking at her social media after the fact. But she was a real cool person to talk to. But I really enjoy interviewing people in the adult industry, but I don't want to talk about the adult industry, if that makes sense. I feel as though most people who interview people in the adult industry ask the same sort of questions. Like, if you want to know what's the biggest Johnson they took, you can watch that on film.
Yeah.
If you want to know how they did this, like, you can watch that on film.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot more than how many men or women they've slept with and how they did this and did that. And I enjoy
that's
asking
why,
maybe not hard questions.
Right. That's why I loved your interview. Like, I've seen a couple of your interviews, and I loved it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it. So I want to see.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh.
No, I was saying it's like it's as if.
What, you had your tongue tied?
No. It's kind of, I think it's a little bit of a lag, but I was saying how I like being able to show them as real human beings and not just a fantasy.
Exactly. And that's why I loved your interview, because it's like people just paint them as that. Now, I was invited to Exotica and I was invited to the after party. So that's where I was at the after party.
Right.
And like you said, it's welcoming, because it's like no judgment zone. You can be who you want, dress the any way you want, and act freely without being like, oh, do I have to be looking a certain way? Should I be proper? Should I be quiet? It's more free for all, do what you feel, do what you want to do, type of thing. And that's what I like about it. This is my first time even going to this. I've never been even invited to Exotica before. I didn't even know what it was until recently. So I went to the after party and I had a good time. It was like interesting. I met some fire performers, fire massages, people was doing BDSM, people was hanging from things. It was very interesting. It was very unique type of environment that I never really been in before, but I wanted to get more details about people who are in what they call, quote unquote, a lifestyle, which they just free with their sexuality and their needs and stuff like that. And that's great that you talk to these people and they acted like normal people. I'm sure they had a lot of people interviewing them and asking them weird, dumb questions, like they are just some product put in place, instead of acting like they're people. They people at the end of the day. It's like they have lives outside of a sex tape. So
exactly.
So go ahead and finish what you said. Yeah.
No, I enjoy that part of it. I like the humanity of it. And, even with any of my other interviews in general, I really like to focus on individuality. So with going to Exotica, I sent out a ton load of email requests for interviews, just because I want to know, okay, who I'm talking to. And I like doing research about individuals. I like knowing who they are, so that when I come and talk to them, I know something about them specifically. I can tailor whatever I'm saying to them to make each interview unique to them. And so if you see one of my interviews, regardless if it's Exotica or any others, I'm not asking the same questions twice in a row, except for the fragrance question. That's something you're going to hear more than likely all the time. But I really enjoy that. Like, for instance, with Foxy or TS Foxy, I wanted to talk to her last year because you're supposed to be an Exotica. And one of the things that, even if you're not in a point like that, I'm not really, but I'm talking to people, I'm learning, you observe, there is a drastic change in the sort of, I say, stigma of working with a trans actress. That I would say has really changed in the past 5 years or so. And Foxy is someone who's been in the business. I think she's been in for like a decade or so. So I
Okay.
really wanted to talk to her and ask her about, how she sees that shift. Because
Mm.
there was, I remember, and I want to say it was about 20 so years ago or so. It's been a while before they instituted a lot of that, the sort of rigorous testing that they do now. But I know there was like the last big AIDS scare that they had in the industry that shut them down. One of the
Oh
male
wow.
performers believes he contracted it from being involved with a trans woman in a shoot in Brazil.
Mm.
And I know for a lot of time that if you didn't see trans women other with men, and most of those men were quote unquote gay men.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see men that worked with women and trans women. They either work with men and trans women or just trans women. Now
Right.
you see trans women working with men who work with, say regular
Mm.
women. I'm trying to offend anybody, but regular women. You see trans women working with women.
Mm.
That sort of stigma is not there anymore for the most part, and I think a lot of that has to do with um, not on OnlyFans as much as you want,
Mm.
shifting to a direct to consumer model really opens up an audience, and really it tells and this is something that when I talked to Kamala Clutch a little while ago, the consumers demand their content, so the studios take notice of what people are buying. The major
Okay.
companies no longer dictate what you see. If this trans performer is hot, she's making content with XYZ on her platform, or
Mm.
vice versa. This guy is hot in the industry and he's making content with this trans performer, this cis performer, blah 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 blah. They're gonna take notice and hide this
Right.
person. This person has a fan base, regardless of who they're screwing, because everybody's
Oh,
tested.
right.
So I really wanted to pick her brain and get her perception, because I thought just that shift, since it's been so quick, like I wanted to know
Mm.
what she thought of that and how she viewed that. So that was something very unique to her. Even Nurse J Becky, since I follow her online, I know she's been a travel nurse and she always talks about that. Well, now she taking a real normal nursing job, and she's staying in one place. So I'm like, how is that changing? What do you plan on doing with that?
That's
These are things that
great.
I want to know,
Right.
because this is who you are. So, okay, what is that first thing you want to do? And she had the nerve to say, "I'm going to rewatch One Piece." I'm like, "Do you have a job to go to? How are you going to re?" And she's starting at episode 25. I'm like, "You ain't going nowhere, woman." Those are the sort of things that I really enjoy, just having those candid conversations. Even I did an interview with Kiki Clout, and I didn't know who she was when I first saw her. I'm not familiar. Like a lot of those red pill podcasts, I used to watch
Mm.
Fresh and Fit way back when I
Oh
first
my
started to
goodness.
be on there, and I
Mm.
had no idea who she was when I saw her. I was like, okay, she's, I wouldn't say standard to what sort of clientele they had on there, but it's like, okay,
She looked
it's
like everybody
entertaining.
else.
Yeah, she's a porn star, so yeah, she looks like everybody else in that
Yeah.
regard. But I knew she was. I knew just from her conversation that she was different than a lot of the other women that they brought on, even regardless of what she did for a living. So I wanted to talk to her personally to see what she really was like, but also just ask, hey, who are you really? Because this is the person I was introduced to, and
Okay.
I didn't even know she was in the point. So that's what I was curious about with regards to what she did and who she was. So I come in from a position of wanting to know more about them as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could have got more dudes,
That's
but none
good.
of the dudes was throwing it back to me. Really,
Really?
I was like,
None of the dudes
yeah,
want to
really.
talk
Like,
to you?
well, nobody responded to my emails. And
Uh,
let me be frank, going on the floor, time goes by real quick. Setting up, we had a
mm,
two-man team, and we both getting content for both our sites. That's a lot of work.
mm,
Really setting up, getting the drops going, talking to people, setting things up. Um, it was fun. It was I had a lot of fun. It was an interesting experience. I got to meet, I want to say, people I've always wanted to meet, but like a Misty
mm,
Stone. And it's weird because I was doing the research after the fact,
Okay.
and Misty's only been in since 2006, and I feel like she's been in longer than that because like it seemed like she's been around for a
2006.
while, and
That
yeah,
is a
that
while.
right,
2006.
exactly.
I was
But
still
I'm
in high
thinking longer than
school. Like
that.
what?
Okay, I'm thinking,
Yo,
yeah,
that's
I was
crazy.
thinking, I was like, oh, but
She don't look old.
she has a no, she don't, but she has a classic build, if that makes sense, of like what a lot of the ebony actresses look like in like late
I ain't
90s,
gonna
early
lie. I
2000s
ain't gonna
outside of
lie.
the
I
right.
would not know any of these people faces. Like when I watch porn, I don't care about your face. I care about the face. It's not about up here. It's everything
Right.
below is what I care about. So
Understood.
I would not.
Understood.
I've seen Miss Stone. Like I've seen her like floating around here and there on porn
Right.
sites or somewhere. And then she looked it familiar, but I'm just like, okay, she's pretty. She's very beautiful. A nice actress, you know.
Right.
But
And
after
so
I seen your
welcome.
interview, yeah, after I seen your interview, I had to look her up. I'm like, oh, nice,
Yeah, they
noise,
were
noise.
she was I'll say she was my favorite one, and that was really impromptu because I think we were about to leave for the night.
Mm,
And when you walk around a convention floor, I think one of the things my partner and I was saying was there were a lot of people who we didn't see who was supposed to be there. Like there were literally a couple people who said they would interview with me and I never saw them. So I don't know if their plans changed or whatnot. You know, things happen. But we literally on our way out and I just saw her. I'm like, Misty Stone, let's go.
mm.
And just went over, talked to her, and like my partner and I explained like what we did, you know, who we are, and I gave her my card and talked to I don't know if it was a manager, whomever the gentleman was with her, and it's like, all right, cool. So we did the interview, and I asked my question, and they were just so floored. It's like that was a really good question,
Okay.
and I was just like, I tried to really ask serious questions about this, and then she's like, "Let me do a drop for you." So I'm like, "Oh wow,
Really?
thank you." You know, yeah, like that. I didn't ask it; she offered and did it.
That's so
I was like,
nice
that
of
was just one of the
her.
things, right?
Yeah.
That was just one of the things that I really enjoyed about that. So this is an interview with Misty Stoner, including the drop. You'll see this first thing.
Well, hello, hello, baby. This is your lovely Misty Stone, and you are watching Webster Style with me.
Okay. What's going on, everybody? It's Webster Style. And we're here. Well, we're here with a legend. We're here with the one and only Misty Stone. Misty, how are you doing today?
Oh, I am fucking wonderful, baby. Just wonderful. Fantastic. We're at Exotica. We are in New Jersey, and we're here with the fucking fans. Of course I'm having a good time. Don't I look like it?
I love that. One of the things I've really loved just interacting with Lauderdale Stars is the appreciation for the fans that so many of you have. Someone who has had career longevity like you definitely knows how to appreciate the fans. But what has the adult industry done for your life?
Wow. Shit. Keep it real. Porn saved my fucking life. Yeah, in my opinion, shit, my story, my whole testimony, like if it wasn't for porn, I'd probably be in Inglewood in the ghetto with fucking 4 kids and 4 baby daddies living with my mama, like just something really ridiculous. It opened my world to so much more. I got to travel the world. I got to see new people, meet people like me that were walking in the same aspect of life, um, and not letting society make us feel as if it was wrong. You know, now you get to walk with other people who have the same, values and morals as you, and it's nothing wrong with that. And it just made me a better human being altogether. So fuck yeah, porn saved my life, made me healthier. I am very educated with my body, my sex. I'm very sex educated. I'm educated with taking care of my body. I know how to I ain't no doctor now, but I know the symptoms and I know how to go to the doctor, whereas other people are just not as educated. They don't go to the doctor as much. So I don't know. It's just a wonderful thing. So hell yeah. Love porn. And if it wasn't for porn, I'd probably be a little ghetto girl at my mama house with 4 kids and 4 baby daddies.
Well, thank you, Point as well. I got one last question for you. What is your favorite fragrance?
Oh my goodness, Coco Chanel Mademoiselle, baby. Now, what I do is I put I put the Victoria's Secret Bare Vanilla as a body spray as a base, because the vanilla is actually the base for the Coco Chanel. So the vanilla goes very well underneath it, and it just, yeah, when you smell that on me, oh yeah.
Okay, we gotta hold up because you talking about, you know what you're talking about. You're talking about layering now, right? So what what other fragrances do you like?
That's it.
That's it. That's your go-to. That's your signature.
That is the Bare Vanilla as the base, and then the Coco Chanel Mademoiselle. But I ain't gonna tell you which one. Figure it out yourself, Evan.
There you have it, Misty Stone, the living legend. Webster Style, we're out.
Okay, so we gotta talk about what she just said and dissect that, because what she said was real. So I'm going to talk a little bit about sex. Okay, Webster,
Yeah, it was.
get uncomfortable, let me know. All right. First off, from what she's saying from her point of view and her experience, because people do take, like, recently, I did a podcast recently talking about how ex-NBA player's wife was a porn star in her past, and it's really funny how we talking about this right now because it corresponds with that. Like, she was a porn star in the past and she changed her ways. Recently they had financial troubles, so she had to go back to not official porn but to OnlyFans. And she's explained, I'm only doing things to myself, I'm not sleeping with nobody else, and blah 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 blah. And people was upset at her, calling her out, saying she was all this stuff and this, that, and the third, and her husband, and was doing all this stuff. It was a lot of drama. But from what she's saying is, you have to do what you have to do to survive. And she did it out of survival and nothing more, nothing less. She used the gifts that she has, which is her beauty, and used it to her advantage to do porn. Now, let's talk about sex for a minute. Men, okay, what is the issue when a woman is really sexually liberated? What is the problem? Because some men still have these old caveman mindset, but also wants you to be a freak in the sheets. So you want me to be modest, but also be explicit at the same time. Like, I'm supposed to balance it, but it's like, why should I do any of that? Especially if you're a single woman. What is the reason for me not to be sexually free? It doesn't mean I'm sleeping with everybody. It just means I like my body, I look good, and I feel good. Shouldn't I be able to express that? Why does that bother certain men? Would you know the answer to that, Webster?
Well, let me comment on the Joe Smith situation. I only ever had an issue with the Joe Smith situation because she acted like she was single, not like she was married. She did not talk to her husband and doing that first and made that decision. It's one thing if she made that decision and spoke to him and she just disregarded him. I think that would be disrespectful, because if he did something similar, then she wouldn't be happy with that, in my opinion.
Right.
But the fact that it was a year later and he found out, that's the issue I have. Excuse me. That issue, that's where I saw the disrespect and disregard, because that is your mate, that is your partner.
Right.
If you decide, so look, you want survival mode together, not by yourself. If that's what you feel like you have to do, then you need to be single. Right. Personally speaking. But you didn't discuss that with your husband.
Yes, I totally agree. She was disrespectful. It was disrespect.
Yeah, that was disrespectful, straight up.
Yes.
And also, you're a married woman. For instance, I've been married 16 years. Okay.
Okay. Congrats.
If I got an OnlyFans showing off my pecker, my spouse would not be happy about that.
Right.
I mean, right. I am interviewing porn stars when somebody say, "Hey, I can see whatever. I think you'd be good in this. And I say, yeah, sure, let's do OnlyFans. I'll do a couple scenes, yada, yada, yada. And I'll discuss that with my spouse.
No, it's straight up this way. That you don't do that.
Yeah.
What she did was wrong.
Yeah.
But her reasons was childish. She said because he was cheating and she wasn't getting the attention she wanted from him, so she got it from other places. That's what
Let me say that.
alleging.
I say that BS. And that's what I'm going to tell you that right now, because that is the go-to. When we see situations like that, there's always a deflection.
Right.
And she deflected from taking any kind of personal responsibility for her actions and her decisions. It was an excuse in that regard. At the end of the day, was he really cheating? We don't know. She can say that and we're going to believe her. She still made a decision that was impactful to her marriage on a public stage without consulting her husband. So that, because like if he did the same thing,
right? It's like you knew you was going to get caught.
Same thing. Right. If he did the same thing, we would be lambasting him. There would be no excuses. And I'm not trying to say man versus woman sort of thing, but a lot of times the man in the situation wouldn't be given a pass. And there would be no sympathy if he said I was in survival mode, yada yada yada. And he used to be a porn star, he went back to it. I don't think anybody would be giving him a pass and would care about his tears. Like, why was she like? Nobody would care in that regard. To your second point, I think there's a lot of nuances there, and I'm giving my personal opinion on that. There is a difference between being a freak for your man and your husband, and a freak for everybody. There is being liberated for someone whom you're with, and there's being liberated for anybody you just feel like having sex with. I want to say being intimate. There's a difference, and I think also a lot of it is also, and I use a scenario. Regardless of what I'm told by some people, I know that like for instance, I went to Exotica. I cannot go up to any woman for the most part and say, I'd like to take you back to my hotel room. You, on the other hand, could go to most men and say, hey, I'd like to take you back to my hotel room.
You at Exotica, you sure you couldn't? Like, because I've seen some things. Like, I've seen some things.
I'm saying it in general. Women control sex and access to sex.
Yes, we do.
That's the truth. And that is why
when it can be consensual, yes.
Right. And that is why when a woman who is seen as sexually liberated, what are you liberated from? Or why are you liberated? You control the access. In a man's eyes, how is this liberation if this is something you control from the outset?
Well, I can answer that question.
We have sex.
I can answer that question. It's plain and simple. A woman wants love. We, like you say, we control the sex, y'all control the relationships. We need each other in order to survive in this world. Women at the end of the day wants to cuddle, we want to kiss, we want to hold hands, we want to feel comfortable with the person that we went with. That's what we really, basically, the needs that we want. We're more emotional people, so we want more emotion and attachment. So I'm liberated because I have nobody tells me what to do. That's pretty much what it is. I feel good in my body, in my skin, and in confidence. All right. I am a hardworking woman. I'm a truck driver. I have a child. I do what I got to do for them. And when I feel like I want to do something for me, this is what I do. I feel like getting pretty after working in the sun or the heat or the cold or outside all day, looking like a man most of the damn time. I like to come home and feel like a fucking woman. That's what it is with me. Right. And it's like, I like being in my own comfortability. And this is my comfortability. That's why I went to Exotica, because I'm like, I wanted to get more information because people actually live this lifestyle with no judgment. So I wanted to get more educated with it because people make it a judgment. And it's like, why though? But y'all applaud this behind the scenes, but then call people out, but like in front of people, like behind the scenes, it's you can't even imagine. I have so many people that view my stories, like my pictures and all this stuff and videos and stuff. They love it, but do they click the like button? No, Do they click the heart button? No. They always in the back of the scenes in my inbox or trying to text me or something. Just say, I love what you do. Keep doing it. All right, if you love what I do so much, why you didn't like my video? Why are you telling me that? Show the world that you love it. Why are you trying to be a secret freak? Like, what's the agenda? Like, what's the agenda? It's like the saying, I see them in my views, but I don't see them in my likes. It's that saying, and it means something. Like, y'all watching the shit, but for whatever reason, you want to be secretive that you actually like what the fuck you seeing. Like, I'm trying to understand. So, because it doesn't make sense. Why are you watching if you don't like it?
In that context, I can't answer that question because first of all, I always say the internet is not real. You like what you like. It's there for visual stimulation. If I like it, I click like, I click hard on the story, whatnot, and I click hearts on your stories. I like it, and also just supporting. But I don't necessarily see that as the same as the first part, as far as the intimacy with whomever standpoint. That is you wanting to be feminine, wanting to be sexual, and wanting to, I would say, not to demonstrate that, but show off a little bit because of how you feel. That's not so much in my point of view, the blatant, I'll say blatant lack of sexual discernment that the perception that some women have. And I'll say, I'm glad, look, hearing some of these stories of people online, women specifically. I'm not saying it's good for dudes either, because I heard, going back to Fresh and Fit, I heard that one of the hosts talk about, he said, I think it was like 400 plus. I'm like, what? I'm like, 400 plus nasty.
What? That
women.
Sex with a person?
Yes. I was like, that's nasty.
Wait, was she a porn star? Was he a porn star?
No, the host said that. The host said that he has had sex with 400 plus women. And my first reaction was, that's nasty. That's why.
Listen, let me put this out there too. Both men and women can be whores. Okay, I'm tired of that. Them only can be whores, because we both can be whores, and y'all men need to accept that. That's the reason why
I don't disagree.
It's like it is what it in the streets, because y'all not accepting that y'all whores too. Y'all are whores. Y'all penis is stimulated like 24/7. Y'all can see like the wind breeze and y'all can get hard. Like, it's so y'all can be whores too. It's about self-control. That's the difference. If you have self-control with it, then you just experiencing things. But when you just out here just doing shit willy-nilly, that's just you just being a freak and a whore. That's just, well, that's not in a bad way in a sense, but yeah, let's put a title to it. Women and men both can be whores. I don't know why y'all think y'all can't.
Yeah, and I think going back to
and y'all have all this sex and y'all still don't know how to, don't understand the body of a woman, the what we need, what to be stimulated to. It's like the men I have men begging on their knees to fuck me before. It's like, yo, calm down, like calm the fuck down. And it's like, I'm gonna give you the opportunity, and then what? You probably don't even know anything to do to turn me on, to make me come, to do anything. You just want what you want at the end of the day. And it's like, good, you got what you wanted. Now the fuck what? Now I'm sitting here looking like I wasted my time, and you just like, oh, finally another conquest. Get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah, that's I don't understand that aspect of it. But even going back to your original point, I think a lot of it is just really comes down to perception. And I don't think, going back to your original question was, why do men have an issue? Or some men. A lot of it's how people present themselves, women specifically, in the case of what men find attractive and whatnot, what men want. I think no man has an issue with a woman being a freak. I think that the issue that many men will say is that when their woman presents themselves as a freak. And I think that's where woman, that
I can understand.
disconnect comes into play.
Right. If I'm your girlfriend, your wife, if we're together, yes, I can understand why you feel some type of way while I'm doing certain things. But if I'm single, not tied to nobody, get the fuck out of my face. That's all I'm saying. Because I have niggas be like, why are you doing that? oh, so we together? No, then
I
get the
understand
fuck
that.
out of my face.
I totally understand that.
So yeah, but
Right.
I don't want to waste
I get it.
no more time because we have a special guest,
Go ahead.
Renee. She has a book called Perfect Polly. So she is a Black female author who created this book called Perfect Polly, and she's trying to talk about her experience. Hello, girl. Look at
Hi
you.
y'all. Thank you.
Hey.
What's going on? Hi everybody.
Hello.
Good evening, Renee.
So Renee, I wanted to talk about your book. How did this book come about? What's the backstory of it? Where you come with this idea?
Basically just a wild imagination. Different stories from friends, things that I saw on TV. And it just came to life for the most
Okay.
part. How I got the name basically was just different concepts that I heard from men over the years of, oh, you're such the perfect person. If I could have you in her at the same time in a perfect world, I would. So that's how I came up with the concept with the name Perfect Polly. So this
Oh.
particular book is everything in here is perfect to the T in a world with no judgment. So it's
Mm.
actually about something that y'all talking about today. The proper name is called solo poly. A
Okay.
person who lives freely without judgment and sexuality, whatever way the wind blows, and
Mm.
chooses, what they want to do. They have a partner sometime, but they don't care to get married or share finances with their mate.
Mm.
So they just pretty much just live free in the world with no judgment.
That's interesting. That's cool. That's so you never had a poly relationship before or never been into one?
No.
Okay.
I have did a parallel situation. It's called parallel poly, meaning you know about somebody else. They like y'all
Mm.
know about each other, but y'all never cross paths.
Oh,
So I did stuff like
interesting.
that. Yeah. So at one point I lived a solo poly lifestyle, not, dating whenever I wanted, whoever I wanted, with no problem. No care in the
Okay.
world. Yeah,
Interesting.
so
So have you had any trials with this book? Because I remember you telling me it was supposed to be a production with this book coming into like a movie type of thing,
yeah.
maybe a Tubi
Yeah,
movie.
one of my biggest dreams was to write a script. So I actually wrote the book first. I had a producer who was very interested in turning my book into a movie. We created the contract, set up the deal, and the deal fell through. So I'm kind of disappointed about it because I gave up a nice amount of money for the project and nothing ever happened. It's been 3 years now.
Mm.
So I'm hoping some changes will come about it. Um, I have to seek a lawyer at this point to see what I can do about it.
Wow, that's so unfortunate. Is this guy still trying to produce? Is he still?
Yes. He just came out with a current movie. It's called Once Upon a Time in Philly. He had 1 and 2. His
Mm.
name is Six King. Yeah, he's
Okay.
from Philadelphia. He's big. He's really well known. I trusted him because I gave him my money, and
Right.
I thought that it would go through, and he made me trust in him. We created a contract, and
Nothing
yeah,
happened.
nothing. Yeah, we hired people, actors and actress. Everybody got the script,
Mm.
audition, went through the plans to do production, and nothing came from it.
He's not even trying to work it out with you, trying to work with you, trying to do
I've been
anything.
trying for years at this point. July made the last chance for the movie to be able to come out. We had a verbal contract after that, and he told me to be patient, that I'm still on the list, but he just keep redirecting me to emails.
Wow, what kind of
Mm.
list? Like that's just ridiculous.
I don't know. It's really messed up because I'm a single mom. One of my dreams was always to write a movie, and be a part of that project. And the book is awesome, and I know anybody will be willing to take it under their belt. But I was hoping that he would be the man to execute the job.
Mm.
Yeah, so
I'm
it's
so
kind of
sorry.
embarrassing because I had so many people cheering for me and being a part of this, and reaching out to so many locations and venues and for them to say, well, what happened? What happened? I thought this was going to, you know, come to life, and it didn't.
Wow. Yeah, that's very embarrassing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you definitely should try to talk to some people to help you out with the situation, because that's not fair, especially when it's a contract in place. It's one thing if it's just word to mouth type of situation, like, yeah, I got you, and then actually have to sit down, present money. I'm sure you have receipts of all of that as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
I could have
so
did something else with my money or went in another direction. So I'm
you could
not
have
going to give
funded
up.
your own stuff. You could have funded your own stuff with probably
At
the
the point,
money.
the way technology is today,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I
Yeah.
can. So I'm not going to give up. Working on part 2 of the book. So I'll explain a little bit about Perfect Polly. Hold on,
Mm-hmm.
please.
Oh yeah, sure. So yeah, yeah, it's people be scamming out here. Like I told you before we even started this. Yeah, people, even corporates, people be trying to scam people. But
Yes, and it's
go
so
ahead,
sad.
Renee.
It's not
Mhm.
worth it. But basically, like I said, the book is about her. Her name is Summer. She's the main character. She's a solo poly woman. She does have a mate, and they are actually able to live how they want to live. A lot of her friends live in different are in different type of poly relationships. So it's
Mhm.
different forms of the poly, and a lot of people don't understand that. So what I did display in the back of the book, I gave you the definitions so that you can be better educated on how to word things and what it means. You have a kitchen table poly, where basically everybody can get together, have conversation, and do all kinds of crazy things. You have a parallel poly, meaning you know about the other person, but y'all never cross paths. You have the solo poly, where me and a woman can be this, where they just want to live how they live, do what they want to do without any questions of, you know, their lifestyle. You got polyandry. That's polyamory, basically with a man or woman who have more than one mate that are married to more than one person. And
Mm.
polyandry is basically a woman who has 2 husbands. You got polysexual, monogamy, of course, everybody knows about, open marriage and open relationships. Everybody pretty much knows what those things mean. And you have swingers, and that's pretty much it. But I do give those definitions in the back of the book. This is the book
Okay.
here, and is the definitions in the back. It's a really quick read. It's fun. It's entertaining. You'll hear some crazy stories. Every chapter has some kind of sexual encounter
Oh wow.
incorporated in it. So I advise everybody before they read the book, read it at bedtime or when you know you're about to have company, because it gets you really excited.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah.
Okay.
where are you selling these books? How many copies do you have out? Like what's the
Right now, I have to order some new copies, but anybody are more than welcome to hit me up on renee.battle.50 on IG, and then I can place the order myself.
Okay, that's great. Anything else you wanted to say, Renee, about your book, about the situation that's going on with you?
No, just one day, I hope that once I finish complete the part 2, I'll get somebody else that can come in and help me push the book again, another publishing company maybe, to help me revamp the book, push it a little bit more, because it's a really good read, you know.
Hmm.
And I pray one day they get turned into a movie on Tubi. Please.
I know someone who works for
Please.
So Renee, I have
Tubi,
a
so
question.
go ahead,
Renee, I have a
Webster.
question. What has the reception to your book been like so far?
Well, at the time that I created the book and once it got published, it was amazing. For the whole year that I decided, I pushed everything by myself. So I sold over 600 copies. I
Mhm.
still to this day, it's been a couple
Mhm.
years, are receiving emails about my book. It was online at some point, and actually his company took it down. So
Mm.
yeah, it's really been a good response. Never had a bad review, honestly. Made a lot of posts on social media from different comments and reviews from the consumers. They loved it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
see, I
I'm
would
interested.
imagine.
Go
No,
ahead,
I'm saying I
Webster.
would imagine with the, I guess, more high-profile nature of polygamy, polyandry, especially with a lot of like the TLC shows in the past couple years. I would have assumed that
Yeah.
definitely would have sparked people's interest in learning more and trying to understand more, at least just in general, finding content about the lifestyle.
Yes, because a lot of people are not knowledgeable and a lot of people don't quite understand it. We can create this world, and I like the fact that the young lady that was on there, she like, listen, I want to live for me. I want to be selfish. I'm not out here doing, what I thought I could have been a product of society. I'm choosing to pick me, So I commend anybody that went in
Right.
that field. I always wanted to be a part of the field, but I never wanted to be like on the scene part, maybe like behind the scenes. So that's why I decided to write a book.
Oh, that's deep. That's
Understood.
interesting.
Yeah. Like I literally sold lingerie, sex toys. So I wanted to be a part of it, but being a single mom, the opposite of what the young lady said, you kind of feel like you don't want to be judged if you decide to go that
Right.
route.
Right.
So then that my children is older, I felt more comfortable to come out with something like this and and create the storyline.
Yeah. And I'm definitely
Right.
interested in the book. I'm definitely going to talk to you about a copy because I'm on my own little journey right now trying to understand, because I've been meeting a lot of people who are poly or in the lifestyle, and it's just like I don't understand it. I've never been in it. I'm not used to it, and people want to assume that because the way I look and dress means I must know something. I don't know a damn thing.
Right. I'm very knowledgeable because I have been connected to the world for so long now. It's been 8+ years. I'm knowledgeable, but I'm still considered like on the vanilla aspect of it, but I'm just more open-minded. And I live
Right.
in my mind is like very non-judgmental. So things that I saw or things that I've heard, I respect everybody that tells me,
Yeah. So
Because at one
that's
point
good.
I did have my own, around the time that I wrote the book, I had my own club. So I had a private club and things like
Okay.
that. So that was another inspiration behind it.
What kind of club was it? Like a bar type of situation? Oh, okay. A swingers bar? Really?
It was like an after-hour private. Yes.
Okay, girl, we gotta talk because
Yes.
yo, really, that's what's up. That's deep. That's deep.
I love your podcast. It's pretty dope.
Thank you. And I appreciate you, girl. You know that. You're a cool person.
Virgo thing. We connected right
Yes,
away.
girl. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
We just like cats too. Like we came in like
Yes.
we
Too
didn't
cute.
plan that. We was just like
Yes. Too cute.
but
Always a good time.
I appreciate what you're doing, Renee. I mean, give like us Black women, we need to stick together. This is why I'm trying to say in my other podcast that we need more of us talking
Yes.
for us, working together for us, and we can build skyscrapers and empires and all this stuff if we stop putting the selfish petty beef. Like we always want to argue, we always want to put the other person down. It's like, why? I have knowledge that I can give to you. You have knowledge you can give to me, and let's build. Let's build something here.
I agree.
Yes. So I appreciate you, Renee, coming on and talking about your experience and your book. Yeah, keep doing it. Black businesswoman, we here. We here
Thank
with it.
you. I appreciate it.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Anytime. You got my number, girl.
Okay.
All right, I'll see you next time. All right, Renee.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right.
Yeah, but people, we need to be more unionized. Like her story touches me because I'm a single mother. I can't even imagine giving somebody my life money and hoping to make a profit out of it, and they just turn around and just want to stab me in the back or use me for my money. It's ridiculous how people are in this world. That it's not necessary. So again, her book is called Perfect Polly if anybody wants to look it up. She also talked about her Instagram page where you can follow her and inbox her to ask her about her book or anything, and go follow her. Yes. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the sex aspect back to it, because it seems like people who don't understand this lifestyle and want to get educated and implicated
Right.
to what we actually talking about here. Ask questions. That's the first step. Don't just
Exactly.
don't just have a person tell you what something is. Research it. Because
Right.
that's how
Exactly.
people get caught up. It's like people, this is just what it is. It's like, okay, cool. No, research it, look it up, look the backstory of it so you can get a full knowledge or understanding of what you're doing. Okay, because there's too many people who take advantage of people, just like the Renee situations. People take advantage of people's lack of knowledge. That's what it is. You don't know until you know. It's like, oh,
Right.
like when men tell me, when I break up with a guy, like, oh, you picked him. It's like, did I know he was going to be a total asshole? Because best believe he didn't present himself to be a fucking asshole. So best believe he presented himself the way he is now currently. Why you think I just want to waste my time? I want to waste my good looks. I want to waste my energy with things that are not going anywhere longevity wise. No, I didn't know shit. Stop saying women, telling women like you knew. No, we don't fucking know. Like we don't fucking know. We just don't. We know when we know. And then what we know is, for me, it's like, listen, you better get out my face. Get out my face. Get out my face. I did want to also talk a little bit about men and y'all penis, just a little bit. So, because this is about educating, okay? What is with y'all men and y'all penises that make y'all want to sleep
Okay.
with everything? Can somebody out there answer that question? What is with y'all penises that as soon as y'all see something, it's like auga, like a cartoon?
I'll say this now. I'll, I'll say this, and this is, I'm coming from a person with a science background. I've always looked at it as that natural instinct. It's biology. It's you look at the animal kingdom, the males of many species, especially mammalian species, want to pretty much impregnate anything that they can. I have always said, regardless of us being human beings, regardless of being high intelligence and higher quote unquote sophistication, men and women are still ruled by the same principles of the animal world. So that's what I'll say as far as my explanation to that. Now, the difference is we have or should have self-control. We
Right.
also structure our society in a way that we should not, or probably not should not, is what I should. We do not have to adhere to those biological urges. And I think that with men specifically, because I'm not a woman, so I will not comment on what women should or should not feel and how they should act in that regard. I think that we as men, when we discuss, we understand that we see something we like, we want. That's regardless of your relationship status or whatnot. That's just how we are. That doesn't mean you act on it. That doesn't mean that you try to step to her or throw your life away because she's a pretty face, she appeals to you in whatever gets you stimulated, I'll say. So some men have self-control, some men do not. And I'll say, and I'll leave it pretty much at that, because it really comes down to a matter of self-control. It really comes down to a matter of what rules your life. And I think that it can take some men a while really to find that discipline. Some learn it early on, some don't. Some get it, everybody's different, but it's really about finding that discipline and really adhering to whatever path, and not trying to get sort of how can I put it, self-help sort of way. But it really is about finding discipline, because regardless of who you are, you see a woman like, damn, like the thoughts in your head, but that doesn't mean you go step to her, you try to get a number, or you try to grab behind. Like you don't do those things. You have your thoughts. You're like, oh, she looks nice. Oh, I like that, and you keep it moving. Unless you like, oh, I want to try to get to know her. I want to talk to her. I want to see what she's about, sort of thing.
And that's the key word right there, trying to get to know her, because y'all men complain about y'all baby mamas way too much, and the women complain about your baby daddies way too much. But it's like, you picked them though. You got 5 kids in, and he's still getting on your nerves. You still calling your girlfriends like, yeah, he cheated on me again. He took the lunch money again. It's like, okay, so how many times are we gonna have this conversation? It's about self-control. You really gotta get to know people and know what they about, what they want out of life, and start assuming and just taking your urges. And yes, it is instinct. It is biologically. Y'all men produce sperm like every second or so. So it's like, I get it. Y'all, it's y'all biologic clocks, but educate yourself a little bit more. Y'all need to educate yourself with y'all penises, because y'all get your oil changes and your car check, but y'all don't want to check your body. You don't want to check your penis. If I remember telling a boyfriend of mine, like, you need to go to the doctor because something ain't right. He's like, I don't need to go to the doctor. Turned out he passed out a couple of weeks later because he needed to go to the doctor. Like, y'all need to really learn your body, understand your body, understand that you don't have to act to every reaction, that is going on in your life. So just take it easy and take it slow, people. That's my little 2 cents to it. And that will be it for tonight's Rens Red Room. Webster, is there anything you wanted to say?
Sure. Thank you for having me as always. If you guys are looking for content from Webster Style, Webster Style Magazine, you can find me at websterstyle.com and find me all over, social media, all those places, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Search Webster Style, you will find me.
All right. And you can follow me, Ren, on silly_weaver on Instagram, or on Facebook, which is Ren Graves on Facebook. I also have a separate Instagram, which is just my shows, my little clips. I clip them up and them on there so you can get the best parts of Rens Red Room. And you can look on there through my social media as well. I appreciate everyone coming in tonight. Thank you, Renee. And this is also my maid service as well that I got going on here. So you can hit me up for that as well. Thank you, Renee, for coming on. Thank you, everyone, for showing up tonight. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And see you next time.